Hi everyone, I'm Dixon. I'm going to present on the development of modified plant oil boiler ash POBA based geopolymer lightweight aggregate. The inventors of the product are Associate Professor Dr. Rafiza Abdul Razak, Dr. Zarina Yahya, TS SK Muiz SK Abdul Razak, Ahmad Faizal Mansur, Shakizan Azmi, and me. Let me introduce of this invention. Aggregates are type of material that are required around 50 to 60% in the production of concrete. The depletion of natural resources and high-quality natural aggregate become the highlight issue for the construction field. Lightweight aggregate help to prevent early cracking, reduce the permeability, and have a longer lifespan compared to conventional concrete. The wax from the palm oil industry can be used to produce lightweight concrete as it decreases the quantity of cement used and more sustainable to a green environment. Now, let's see on the problem statement on the plant oil boiler ash. Based on Malaysia plant oil concern, Malaysia is one of the leading suppliers of plant oil around the world. According to Malaysian Oil Plant Statistics 2020, the production of plant oil in Malaysia is 19.40 million tons. The production of plant oil generates a lot of solid waste such as empty flanges, fibers, and plant kernel shells. The plant oil wax using as burning material in the boiler for generating electricity and a byproduct of them is known as plant oil boiler ash POBA. For every kilo of plant oil produced, it generates 3 kilos of POBA. Based on the chemical composition of plant oil boiler ash POBA, it comprises about 52.79% of silica oxide and aluminum oxide, which is very suitable for geopolymer production. Thus, it has the potential to be used as source material for artificial lightweight aggregate for geopolymerization. The novelty of this invention are using plant oil boiler ash to produce artificial lightweight aggregate through geopolymerization method. Besides that, the development of high-strength lightweight aggregate as replacement for natural aggregate in concrete. This invention will bring benefit to the society. Artificial lightweight aggregate is a type of grey material which made up from industrial wax. Plant oil boiler ash based geopolymer aggregate did not use any ordinary Poland cement or PC as binder, which is more environmental friendly. It is an alternative material to reduce the excessive use of natural aggregate. It also achieves the standard requirement for the lightweight aggregate. This is the manufacturing process for POBA-based geopolymer lightweight aggregate. At first, plant oil boiler ash will be gridded or sieved into powder form, and it will mix with alkaline activator, which consists of sodium hydroxide and sodium silicate. Then it will be pelletized by using hand, and the hardening process will be carried out by putting it into the oven at 80 degrees for 24 hours. There are two types of method of modification. The first type is vacuum impregnation sheet. Now, let me show you the video of manufacturing process on vacuum impregnation sheet.
At first, POBA-based geopolymer aggregate was placed in the container, and the phase change material is filled up the container to cover the aggregate. Then, the vacuum pump is on and the pressure is kept at 0.087 megapascal for 30 minutes. The sample was then rest for 30 minutes for completion of impregnation sheet process. The sample was taken out and surface dried by towel to remove excess paraffin. The sample will be put inside the freezer for 24 hours for the solidification of liquid paraffin. The frozen impregnated aggregate will remove from the freezer and transfer into the mixture of epoxy resin. For the coating process, the sample will be immersed in the epoxy resin for 15 minutes. The freshly sorted and coated aggregate removed from the epoxy resin and transfer into the container with graphite powder. The state are repeated by replacing liquid paraffin with silica film-based geopolymer.
This is the manufacturing process for vacuum impregnation sheet. Now, this is the second method of the method of modification, which is using coating method. Now, let me show you the manufacturing process by using coating method.
First, POBA-based geopolymer aggregate will be placed in the container, and the epoxy resin will be filled up the container to cover the aggregate. And the sample will be immersed in the epoxy resin for 15 minutes for undergoing coating process. The freshly sorted and coated aggregate removed from the epoxy resin and transferred into the container with graphite powder. The steps are repeated by replacing epoxy resin with silica film-based geopolymer.
This is the manufacturing process for coating method. This is a product photo of 3 types of sample. At first, this is the control sample, and the second and third is the modified method, which using the vacuum impregnation sheet and the coated method. Some testing have been carried out to determine the properties of POBA-based geopolymer level aggregate. The testing are aggregate impact value, water absorption, the densimeter to determine the specific gravity, and K2 Pro thermal properties analyzer to determine the thermal conductivity of aggregate. This is the properties of plant oil. This is the properties of plant oil boiler as best geopolymer level aggregate. As we can see on the result, the method of modifier for vacuum impregnate using silica film geopolymer has the best improvement on the aggregate impact value, water absorption, and thermal conductivity. However, we can see at the method of modifier by using coated by epoxy resin, it shows no any improvement on the properties of the aggregate. Plant oil boiler edge best geopolymer level aggregate has a potential to be used as a commercialization product. It can be used in the application of concrete to produce lightweight concrete. It can also use to become the hydroculture. The hydroculture can be act as a medium to distribute the water throughout the plant. That's all for me. Thank you.